Did you know that after age 60, a complete lack of sexual activity can accelerate the decline of your male vitality more than any other factor? This isn't an opinion, it's a fact supported by the experience of more than 3,200 mature men with whom I've worked during my 15 years specializing in men's health after age 60. For decades, society has conditioned us to believe that the loss of vitality is inevitable with age. We've been convinced that after a certain age, we should simply resign ourselves to a life without the energy that defined us as complete men. But working directly with thousands of men in your same situation, I discovered that this belief is not only false, but dangerous. The pharmaceutical industry has built a multi-billion-dollar empire selling the idea that the only solution is expensive pills with side effects that can compromise your cardiovascular health, create physical dependency, and, paradoxically, worsen the problem in the long run. Meanwhile, there is a natural, safe, and effective alternative that our ancestors intuitively knew, but that the modern world has systematically ignored. Miguel, the retired mechanic from Guadalajara I told you about, wasn't my first case. He was one of hundreds who helped me understand that the problem isn't age, but rather a lack of knowledge about how our mature male bodies actually work. His transformation in just 6 weeks wasn't a fluke. It was the result of applying fundamental biological principles that any man can implement from the comfort and privacy of his own home. The difference between men who regain their vitality and those who give up isn't genetics, luck, or financial resources. It's having access to the right information and the will to act on it. If you've found this information helpful up to this point, keep reading, because what follows may completely change your perspective on what's possible at your age. To understand why this natural method works, we need to talk about basic science in a simple and clear way. Your mature male body isn't defective. It's simply been operating under conditions that don't favor its optimal performance. The process begins with blood circulation. When any area of the body doesn't receive regular stimulation, blood vessels gradually constrict, reducing the flow of oxygen and essential nutrients. This is the same principle by which an unused muscle atrophies. In the case of male intimate function, a lack of regular activity can create a negative cycle. Less stimulation leads to less circulation, which results in less responsiveness, generating less interest, and so on. But here's the good news that most doctors don't explain clearly. This process is completely reversible at any age. Male tissues maintain their regenerative and responsive capacity far beyond what was traditionally believed. Recent studies have shown that men in their 70s and 80s can experience significant improvements in function and vitality when the right stimuli are implemented. The ancient technique I rediscovered works on 3 fundamental principles. First, it reestablishes regular blood circulation in the intimate area through controlled and systematic stimulation. Second, it reactivates hormone receptors that may have become less sensitive due to lack of use. Third, it strengthens the mind-body connection, which is crucial for intimate confidence. Unlike medications that force a temporary artificial response, this method works with your body's natural processes to restore its original function. There are no side effects because you're not introducing foreign chemicals. You're simply restoring your body to the conditions it needs to function as designed. The difference in results is remarkable. While pills may offer a temporary, time-dependent solution, this natural approach builds sustainable, progressive improvement that strengthens over time. If you find this scientific information valuable, please share it with other men who might benefit, because knowledge is power when it comes to our health. Carlos Mendoza, 71, a retired history professor from Mexico City, came to my office after 3 years of total sexual abstinence. "I thought that part of my life was over forever," he confided, his eyes lowered. His wife, Maria Elena, had begun to feel rejected, and their 45-year marriage was in its worst crisis. Carlos had tried medication, but the side effects frightened him. Dizziness, palpitations, and a feeling of artificiality that made him feel as if he were cheating. After explaining the natural method to him, Carlos began the daily practice I'll detail below. In the third week, he noticed the first changes, waking up with greater morning energy, a general feeling of vitality he hadn't experienced in years. By the sixth week, his intimate confidence had returned naturally and organically. 3 months later, he wrote to me, "Not only have I recovered my intimacy, but Maria Elena and I are experiencing a second honeymoon. I feel like the man I always was, but with the wisdom of age." The case of Roberto Santillan, a 65-year-old retired electrician from Monterrey, was different but equally revealing. Roberto had developed type 2 diabetes, and his doctor had warned him that this would inevitably affect his intimate life. Resigned, he stopped engaging in any intimate activity for 2 years. His self-esteem plummeted, he began avoiding social situations, and his depression increased considerably. When Roberto implemented the natural technique, something extraordinary happened. Not only did his intimate function improve, but his blood sugar control stabilized noticeably. His doctor, amazed by his overall health improvement, asked him what had changed. "The difference," Roberto explained, "was that I felt like a complete man again. That confidence radiated into all areas of my life. I take better care of my diet, I walk more, I sleep better, and even my relationship with my adult children improved." Francisco Herrera, a 74-year-old retired accountant from Guadalajara, represents the case that most impacted me. Widowed for 5 years, Francisco believed his intimate life was definitively over. However, at 73, he met Carmen, a widow his age, and felt the rebirth of emotions he thought were lost forever. The problem was that his body wasn't responding to his feelings, which filled him with frustration and shame. After applying the method for 2 months, Francisco not only recovered his intimate capacity, but also developed a full and satisfying relationship with Carmen. "At 74, I discovered I can feel as vital as I did at 40, he told me during his last consultation. Age is just a number when your body and mind are in harmony. Let me know in the comments if you relate to any of these stories, because every man deserves to live his full life, no matter his age. After 15 years of working with mature men, I've seen firsthand the advantages and disadvantages of each approach. It's important to have complete information to make the best decision for your particular situation. Conventional drug treatments can offer quick results, but they come with significant considerations. The most popular pills cost between $150 and $300 a month, creating a permanent financial dependency. Even more worrisome are the side effects. Severe headaches, cardiovascular problems, dangerous interactions with blood pressure medications, and in some cases, temporary visual effects that can be alarming. Furthermore, these medications don't address the root cause of the problem. They only provide a temporary solution. When you stop taking them, you're right back where you started, or sometimes worse, because your body may have developed a tolerance. More invasive medical treatments, such as injections or mechanical devices, can be effective, but are intimidating for many older men. They require regular doctor visits, procedures that can cause anxiety, and costs that quickly add up. Many of my clients tried these options before seeking natural alternatives, and most reported feeling more like patients than men regaining their natural vitality. In contrast, the natural method I teach works with your body's inherent processes. There are no chemical dependencies, no side effects, and no recurring costs after the initial learning process. More importantly, the results build gradually and strengthen over time, creating a solid foundation of confidence and ability that is truly yours. The fundamental difference is philosophical. Do you prefer to rely on a temporary external solution, or do you prefer to recover and strengthen your permanent natural ability? Do you want to feel like a patient taking medication to function, or like a person who has regained his natural vitality? I'm not against modern medicine when necessary. If you have serious medical conditions, you should always consult your doctor. But for most older men who have simply lost touch with their natural vitality, there is a more elegant, affordable, and sustainable alternative. Share your preferred approach, natural or conventional, and why. Your experience may help other men in the same situation. Now we come to the heart of the method, the specific protocol that has transformed the lives of thousands of mature men. This rediscovered ancient technique is based on three fundamental pillars that work synergistically to restore your natural vitality. Pillar 1. Controlled circulatory stimulation. The practice begins with stimulation exercises that reactivate blood circulation in the intimate area. This should be done daily, preferably in the morning when hormone levels are naturally highest. The process involves circular massage techniques and controlled pressure that awaken dormant tissues without causing irritation or fatigue. The initial duration should be 10-15 minutes, gradually increasing to 20 to 25 minutes as your body adapts. It's crucial to maintain consistency. 10 minutes a day is better than 30 minutes on the fly. During the first 2 weeks, you may not notice dramatic changes, but internally, key vascular connections are being re-established. Pillar 2. Specific energizing breathing. Along with physical stimulation, you implement a specific breathing pattern that optimally oxygenates the blood and activates the parasympathetic nervous system. This technique, derived from ancient Eastern practices, consists of deep inhalations for 4 seconds, a 4-second hold, and a controlled exhalation for 6 seconds. This breathing should be synchronized with the stimulation movements, creating a rhythm that calms the mind while energizing the body. Many of my clients report that this part of the protocol also improves their sleep quality and reduces overall stress. Pillar 3. Directed visualization. The mental component is just as crucial as the physical. During practice, you employ visualization techniques that reconnect your mind with feelings of vitality and confidence. These aren't elaborate fantasies, but rather a reminder and reinforcement of the mind-body connection that may have weakened over time. You visualize vital energy flowing through your body, imagine circulation improving, and cultivate feelings of strength and masculinity. This mental practice significantly accelerates physical results because the brain doesn't fully distinguish between real and vividly imagined experiences. Implementation protocol weeks 1 to 2. Focus on establishing a daily routine and mastering basic techniques. Realistic expectations, increased morning energy, and improved sleep quality. Weeks 3 to 4. Gradual intensification of practice. Expectations. First signs of increased circulation and sensitivity. Weeks 5 or 8. Complete protocol with all elements integrated. Expectations. Noticeable improvements in confidence, energy, and responsiveness. Weeks 9 to 12. Refinement and customization based on your individual response. Expectation. Establishing a new normal of vitality. Tips for maximum success. Keep a simple record of your progress to identify patterns. Some men respond faster in the morning, others in the evening. Adjust your schedule according to your natural rhythm. If you have existing medical conditions, consult your doctor before starting any new program. If you find these tips practical and feasible, give us a thumbs up and subscribe for more mature men's health content. One of the most gratifying surprises of implementing this natural method is discovering that the benefits go far beyond the initial goal. Men who seek to regain their intimate vitality end up experiencing a comprehensive transformation that positively impacts all areas of their lives. Energy and general vitality. Antonio Rivera, a 69-year-old retired businessman from Puebla, told me that after 6 weeks of practicing, his energy level during the day increased noticeably. "I wake up without that feeling of tiredness I had every morning," he explained. "I feel like doing projects I'd put off for years." This improvement in overall energy is no coincidence. By improving blood circulation and hormonal function, the entire body benefits. Improved cardiovascular health, circulatory stimulation exercises strengthen not only local circulation, but the entire cardiovascular system. Several of my clients have reported improvements in their blood pressure and greater overall physical endurance. Eduardo Morales, 72, told me that his cardiologist was surprised by the improvement in his routine exams after 3 months of practice. Renewed confidence and self-esteem. Perhaps the most transformative benefit is the psychological impact. Regaining control over such a fundamental aspect of masculinity generates a confidence that radiates into all social interactions. Men walk differently, speak with more confidence, and approach challenges with greater determination. Strengthened relationships. Not only does intimacy with one's partner improve, but so do all family and social relationships. Rafael Dominguez, 67, explained to me, "My wife notices that I'm more present, more affectionate, more involved. My adult children comment that I look younger. It's as if I've recovered an essential part of myself." Better sleep quality. Most of my clients report significant improvements in sleep quality within the first few weeks. The breathing and relaxation techniques included in the protocol calm the nervous system, resulting in deeper, more restful sleep. Motivation for other healthy habits. There's a fascinating domino effect. When men feel better in one area, they're naturally motivated to take better care of other aspects of their health. They start walking more, take better care of their diet, and regain interest in activities they'd neglected. Stress and anxiety reduction. The breathing and mindfulness techniques included in the protocol have proven benefits for mental health. Many clients report feeling calmer, less reactive to stressful situations, and with greater mental clarity to make important decisions. Feeling of control and empowerment. After years of feeling like victims of aging, regaining control over such a personal aspect generates a powerful sense of personal agency. "I no longer feel like my body is my enemy," Gonzalo Ruiz, 73, told me. "I feel like I have the tools to face the challenges of aging." Give it a thumbs up if you're surprised by these additional benefits, because sometimes the best transformations are the ones we didn't expect. In my 15 years of working with older men, I've heard virtually every concern, doubt, and objection imaginable. It's completely natural to feel skeptical or face internal resistance when it comes to changes in such a personal area of your life. Allow me to address the most common concerns directly and empathetically. I've tried many things and nothing has worked. This is probably the objection I hear most frequently. Men like 70-year-old Fernando Castillo came to my office after trying medications, supplements, devices, and even expensive alternative therapies without lasting success. "Why would this be any different?" he asked with understandable frustration. "The fundamental difference lies in the approach. While most treatments try to force a rapid response, this method works patiently with your body's natural processes. It's not a quick fix. It's a gradual restoration." Fernando wrote to me 4 months later, "I realized I wasn't looking for a miracle, but rather to recover something that had always been there, waiting for the right conditions. I'm too old for these changes." Joaquin Mendez, 78, told me exactly this in our first conversation. "At my age, it's too late for experiments," were his exact words. However, after I explained that I regularly worked with men between the ages of 65 and 82, he decided to give it a try just to prove it wouldn't work. 3 months later, Joaquin had become one of my most notable success stories. Age is no barrier when you understand what your body needs to function optimally. In fact, older men often have advantages: more time to dedicate to practice, fewer distractions, and the wisdom to truly value the results. "I don't have time for complicated routines," Enrique Vasquez, 66, explained to me that his day was completely occupied with caring for his ailing wife and attending to family responsibilities. He worried that the protocol would require hours of daily practice that he simply didn't have. The protocol is specifically designed for busy men. With 15-20 minutes a day, preferably in the morning before the day starts, it's completely manageable. It's less time than I spend reading the news on my phone, Enrique told me after a month of consistent practice. I'm embarrassed to talk about these issues. This is a deeply valid concern. Salvador Ortega, 69, confessed to me that he had never spoken openly about these issues, not even with his wife of 40 years. Shame and modesty are completely natural and respectable. The beauty of this method is that it's completely private. It doesn't require awkward conversations, embarrassing doctor visits, or explanations to anyone. You can implement it in the absolute privacy of your home, at your own pace, without external pressure. What if my wife notices the changes? This concern, although it may seem contradictory, is very common. Some men fear that sudden changes could create expectations or create awkward conversations. The reality is that changes are gradual and natural. Your partner will notice that you are more energetic, more present and more affectionate, but in an organic and progressive way. Strategies to maintain motivation. Set realistic expectations. The first noticeable changes appear between the 3rd and 6th week. Keep a simple log of your energy and overall well-being, not just the personal aspects. Remember that some days will be better than others, and this is completely normal. Focus on additional benefits: better sleep, more energy, increased confidence. These changes will motivate you to continue even if the specific results take a little longer to manifest. Share which of these obstacles is most familiar to you, because recognizing our resistance is the first step to overcoming it. We've reached the end of this informative tour, but you're actually at the beginning of a personal transformation that can completely redefine your experience of life after 60. Everything we've discussed, the science, the real-life cases, the detailed protocol, the strategies for overcoming obstacles, boils down to one fundamental truth. It's never too late to reclaim your natural vitality. Recapitulating the key points. First, you understood that the loss of male vitality isn't inevitable with age, but rather a consequence of a lack of adequate stimulation. Second, you learned the solid scientific basis behind why this natural method works. Third, you saw real transformations in men in your same situation who regained not only their intimate function, but also their confidence and overall quality of life. Fourth, you compared options and understood why the natural approach offers sustainable advantages over conventional treatments. Fifth, you received a complete step-by-step protocol that you can implement immediately. Sixth, you discovered additional benefits that go far beyond the initial goal. Seventh, you identified and received strategies to overcome common obstacles that could interfere with your success. Your next concrete steps. Knowledge without action is simply entertainment. If this information resonates with you, if you recognize your situation in the cases I've shared, if you feel even a glimmer of hope that things can improve, then you have only one decision to make. Get started. Start tomorrow with a gentle 10-minute practice. Don't strive for perfection, strive for consistency. Establish a regular schedule that you can maintain without heroic effort. Remember, you are investing in your masculine dignity, your overall well-being, and the quality of all your future days. A community of determined men. You are not alone in this process. Thousands of older men have walked this path before you, and thousands more are starting right now. There is a silent brotherhood of men who chose not to give up, who chose to reclaim their natural vitality, who understood that age is just a number when you have the right tools. Your personal legacy. Think about this. How do you want your next 10, 15, or 20 years of life to go? Resigned to a diminished existence, or living with the fullness and vitality you deserve? being an example that it's possible to age with dignity and energy, or just another person who has prematurely accepted defeat. The choice is solely yours. You have the information, you have the method, you have real-life examples that it works. All you need now is the decision to honor the man you have always been and continue to be. Among men, we know that words are important, but actions define who we truly are. Today, you can choose to be the man who takes action, who commits to himself, who decides that his prime isn't over, but is just beginning. Age is just a number when you know what to do wisely. Your masculine dignity is waiting to be reclaimed. Your second youth is waiting to be lived. If this entire piece of content provided you with real value, subscribe to the channel for more mature men's health tips. Give it a like if you think this information can transform lives, and share this video with a friend who could benefit from this knowledge. Comment on what impacted you most about all this information, because your experience may inspire other men to take action. Your new life begins now. The time to act is now.